Hi, many of you have been asking me for some advice on body language during video calls, seeing as so many of us are now having so many video meetings and video conversations while we're at home working. So today I'm going to talk about 12 things you can do. It takes 20 seconds to get them ready before your call. That will greatly improve your body language when you're having meetings online. I'm going to use really basic equipment. I have a studio down in my office. I could make this with a really great camera and a great microphone, but I'm going to actually use this with just my webcam, my laptop, my AirPods, because this is what most people have at home. So let's get to it. So the first thing I want to talk about is camera position. Your camera, the best place to have your camera is at eye level. It should be at a distance from you so that you can see more or less from your waist up, from your belly button up. This way you can see my hands as they're moving, and it's not so far away that there isn't a huge amount of empty space to my sides. So place your camera at eye level. If you just have your laptop, that means putting your laptop on a box, on some books to raise it up, or getting a tripod for your webcam and putting it on the tripod and having it at eye level. The best is eye level. It can also be nice to have it a little bit above eye level because that makes your face a bit longer and it's more aesthetically pleasing. Definitely don't have your camera below you, below eye level, because then we're looking up at your double chin. The next thing is lighting. We need to see your face. Um, don't sit with a window behind you because that's gonna mess around with your camera and you're going to be all dark. And the best way to sit is to sit in front of a window. I'm sitting in front of a window right now and I have natural light on my face, which is the best light. If you don't have any place in your house where you can sit in front of a window, then take your desk lamps and if you have a lamp on your desk and just turn it and face the light on your face. It might feel a bit strange for you to have light shining on your face while you're having your video call. However, for your audience, they're not going to know that, and your face is going to be very nicely lit. Next is sound. As you can see, I'm wearing my wireless AirPods. Um, this is the best solution. If you've got wireless earphones, connect them to your computer and use them. It'll make it easier to hear the other people, and also the microphone will be better than the microphone on your computer. If you let the audio come through the speakers on your laptop, that can often be that can often interfere with your audience because they can hear themselves talking to you. So always try to use earphones. If you don't have wireless earphones, use ones with a cable. It's just the wireless ones are nicer because you don't see the cable coming down the front of your shirt. Next is sit properly. So you should sit square on to the camera. Don't sit like to the side. Sit square on. Um, uh, Sit with your feet flat on the floor. This will ground you, and then this is good for your voice. Believe it or not, to have your feet flat on the ground. It'll also maybe stop your feet from moving around. I don't know if you can hear that, and it could be distracting. Also, the as you can see, the back of the chair here. The back of the chair should be touching against your back, but it shouldn't be supporting your back. If I let the back of the chair support my back, if I lean back to it, as you can see, I lose some energy. I also my shoulders come forward, my chest gets concaved in, and I just lose energy. Whereas if I sit up and I could even lean forward a little bit or come more to the edge of the seat, this makes me more energetic in my movements. It makes me look more energetic. Basically, if someone were to come and pull the back of the chair away, I wouldn't fall backwards. I'd still be sitting upright. Next is your hands. Move your hands as you speak, just as you normally do when you're speaking to anyone who's sitting in front of you. Um, don't have anything in your hands if possible. Don't have a pen or don't be holding on to anything because that restricts the movement of your hands. So keep your hands above the table. Don't have them below the table. Don't have them in your pockets. And let those hands move freely as you talk. When you are using your hands, just as when you're presenting, try to show the palms of your hands as much as possible. Gestures happen in this space here in front of your chest. Gestures don't happen above your shoulders because then you look a bit out of control. Next is eye contact. Eye contact, just as in interpersonal communication when someone's in front of you or when you're in front of a live audience, eye contact is super important. However, it can be really hard to make eye contact with, it can be really hard to make eye contact over teleconferencing because actually, when you're looking at the eyes of the person on the screen, you're not looking at the camera. So to the person on the other side, it looks like you're not looking at them. So like right now, I'm looking at the webcam, but if I was speaking to you and you were on the screen in front of me, I would actually be speaking like this. So how to do eye contact? Um, so first of all, for some people, it can be hard to look and speak at a camera. It's very impersonal. It can be a bit daunting to look at this little black dot. It can be useful to get a photograph of a face, someone that you know, and stick it just behind the camera so that the eyes are just above the camera, or stick it to the back of your laptop. And it's easier for us to direct our speech to eyes, to even if it's just a photo of eyes. The other thing about eye contact is, um, and that's why it's important to have this space between you and the camera, that it's seeing you from your from your waist up. Because if I'm too close to the camera, um, you can see my eyes moving around, and I might be looking at the screen or any slight movement of my eyes, and you catch it. Whereas the further away I am from the camera, the less you notice my eyes moving around if they do. Next is background. What can people see behind you? Um, Most people, I think, like me, have their desks up against the wall in a room. I have an office and my desk is up against the wall. Push your desk out and sit with your back to that wall and have it as your background, like I'm doing right now. Or if you want to look more like an expert, more intellectual, put yourself in front of the bookcase and have the books behind you. What's important is that you have either a blank background, like now, or the books serve as a uniform background. And remember, don't have a window as your background because that means the light source is coming from behind you and the camera won't be able to pick up your face. Next, when you're listening to someone speak, if you're in conversation with between 1 and 3 people, and this probably means that you're going to leave your microphone on as other people are speaking. When you're speaking to one person or 2 people, as they're speaking, nod your head, give signals that you are following them, that you understand. You can even say, mm-hmm, uh-huh, yes. We forget to do this when the person isn't in front of us. When people are in front of us, we do it all the time. Mm-hmm, uh-huh, yes, nodding our head. But when we're at a distance and when we're speaking to camera, we forget to do those little signals to show that we're following. If it's a big group and a meeting, it's better that you mute your microphone, you switch off your microphone when it's not your turn to speak. But remember, you can still nod your head, smile, show that you understand what's going on. Keep your hands away from your face. It's very distracting. And because the camera is kind of focused in on you, if you are touching your face, you could be touching the microphone, touching your ears, your hair. It's very distracting for the people looking at you. If you are teleconferencing from your laptop, it's best not to take notes, typing them on your laptop during the meeting. Why? Because it's going to be noisy, people will hear the keys, you're going to lose your eye contact, your hands are going down. Instead, take notes with a pen and paper, and it's much easier to take notes that way. Next is your voice. Most of us, all of us, speak quite naturally, quite understandably to our friends, to our family, to our colleagues when we're relaxed. When we're nervous, our voice gets affected, and that's because our breathing is affected. So if this is an important meeting, an important teleconference, an important interview, then make sure that your breathing is natural, that you're breathing from your stomach. That's why it's important to keep your feet flat on the floor, because that helps you breathe more naturally. Um, People, when they become conscious of their breathing, they think that they should take a deep breath before speaking a sentence, speak the sentence, and then take another breath before the next sentence. That's not actually how we breathe when we're speaking. We breathe in the middle of sentences, and that even helps us create clauses, create anticipation about what we're going to say next. So we actually breathe in the middle of sentences. But just don't worry about when to breathe. Just breathe naturally, breathe regularly, deeply from your stomach. If it's super important and you do find that you get nervous and your voice is affected, it can be a good idea to do a vocal warm up before you do your teleconference. And finally, tip number 12 is your clothes. It can be very easy to, because we're working from home these days, to just sit in front of the camera in your in your pajamas or your day clothes, or not think too much about your appearance because the people aren't there in front of you. Um, Look good on camera, put on appropriate clothes. Basically, the rule always is you should wear the same formality of clothes as your audience. So if you're going to be speaking to people who are wearing suits, maybe you want to wear a suit. If you're going to be speaking to young students who definitely are not wearing suits, then don't wear a suit. Also take into account the color. I'm sitting in front of a white wall. I probably don't want to wear a white shirt because then I'm going to look very washed out. So wear a color shirt that contrasts with the background. Okay, so that's it. Those are 12 tips for teleconferencing. Takes 20 seconds to get yourself ready according to these tips. Um, I've recorded this using the most basic materials so that you can see it works even with just a webcam and AirPods on a laptop. I hope this is helpful, and good luck with all those video meetings over the coming weeks.